I think people like automatically assume when you launch a business in the hunting space, the outdoor space, that you're automatically going to have like more time to hunt.
Yeah.
And this is like the first year I haven't like been constantly thinking about hunting every single day leading up to September, which is when a lot of the general Idaho elk, general hunts start for archery,
Yeah.
just because it's been so busy. But this weekend, I'm actually going out to help a buddy in Wyoming and Region G, a deer hunt. And so I'm excited to go out. We've got some prototypes for some other optics we're getting ready to launch. So we'll go do some recording and put some teaser videos together out there. So this will be the first time I get to actually go out this year, besides like a 1-day trip helping somebody with antelope. So it'll be good.
You're in Idaho, you said?
Yep.
What part?
Southeast Idaho. So it's a town called Shelley. It's like 15 minutes from Idaho Falls.
Okay. I wasn't too terribly far bear hunting this year on the Montana side, just along. Okay. We went in from Bozeman and just kind of hugged the border all the way up to pretty much
Island Park kind of border.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, great area. A lot of bears over there. Too many grizzlies, honestly.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody said that, and we had moments where you're walking around and you get kind of that funny feeling, and then you look down and you see like fresh crap, fresh bear poop on the ground. It's like, oh, and there's one point we're walking through, and me and Joe, and it was getting dark, and I'm like, this is my first time bear hunting out west. And so I'm really hunting it all in grizzly country. So I'm like, and I got my rifle on me, but I look over and like we both kind of got that feeling. Like I said, you see this bear scat on the ground, and he didn't say anything, but he was walking like drawn, like, and so it was very different than just a whitetail hunting up in northern Michigan, where you're not really worried about anything like that.
Yeah, the thing about that area too is, you just can't hunt grizzlies, right? And so they don't feel very threatened with humans yet. Like I'll run into black bears over there, and they're immediately like just taking off on a dead run. But grizzly bears, they'll walk. There was one time I was elk hunting up there, and we called one in. Like I was using my cow call, and we called a big old grizzly boar into like 30 yards coming to put a stalk on an elk.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I had enough encounters of those that I decided to switch the zone that I hunt for elk. We just had too many grizzly encounters, and it was making me nervous. So we switched zones, but that's great country up there for bear hunting.
Well, and it's like, that's what I'm saying. I'm just like not used to it. So I'm like, I don't know. I think this is, I think this is dangerous, but I don't really know. And I looked at Joe with it out, and he spent a lot of time hunting out there. I'm like, oh, okay, better get ready, because apparently, like, this could get hairy. No, so that's cool. You live in a beautiful state. You tried to get an elk tag up. Was that this year or last year? Trying to get an elk tag?
Yeah, it was last year. I tried getting the elk tag for just any kind of elk tag, and they've got a deal for veterans who are a certain disability rating.
That boy ain't right.
They get in, like, they get resident tags.
Oh, yeah. Dang.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. I could have got a resident elk.
But it was like a pretty. What's the draw like? I don't know anything about it. It's pretty hard.
There's only 300 of them, and there were tens of thousands of people trying.
Do you remember which unit or zone?
It's for any zone.
Oh, anything.
Yeah, anything. So if you're that first, I would say within the first 1,000 people into that pool, you got a good chance of getting one. So
you didn't pull, man.
I didn't pull. I was 19,800 in line or something like that. I could have gotten some of the northern zones.
Up in the finger?
Yeah, up in the panhandle.
I like finger.
Yeah, finger better.
Florida's got.
I could have got one, but it wasn't.
Oklahoma's got a finger maybe too. They all have fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't spent time hunting that north stuff just because I'm so close to a lot of good units here, but right. I've heard this beautiful country up there too. Well, pull a tag this next year.
Yeah,
I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to.
You're going? Where are you going next year? Are we going somewhere? Are me and you going somewhere?
It's all depending on your plans. Like we talked about tentatively.
I'm trying to get a moose hunt in Newfoundland. My wife and I have been wanting to go there just to travel anyways. And so I'm like, well, if we're going to go there, let's just take an extra week of vacation and probably go kill a moose, So we're going to try to do that. It's just Canada, they're the friendliest towards. They're not COVID friendly yet, you know.
Sure.
So we're gonna just let that play out. Otherwise, otherwise you and I are we going? We're going to Alaska.
Yep.
We're going back to avenge my mishaps.
Yep.
Yeah,
What are you chasing there?
What's that?
What are you chasing there?
Caribou. Yeah, I just got back from doing that Dalton hunt, and we did a podcast on it. But long story short, my bow got knocked out of tune at some point when I was traveling. Actually, after I had gotten to Alaska, but sometime when I was crawling around or whatever, I must have bumped something because I missed one caribou bull 4 times. Like the first shot, it was like. I mean, it's in my range, it's far, but it's like I'm ready. I'm pretty calm. I'm on the vitals. I shoot, and I shoot with my both eyes open. It was kind of more of a recent thing, but I found that I could see the arrow flight really well when you do that. And I look, and my arrow is literally like almost totally perpendicular to me in the air. I'm like, oh crap! And of course, like in that moment, that happens. You're a little frazzled, so it's like, all right. But you know how caribou can be, it comes closer. So I'm like, all right, get ready at 60 yards, miss, same thing happened. And then he comes to 40 yards. I'm like, wow, what are the odds that I'm going to have the same problem? Sure enough, did it again. So all that to say is, yeah, we have to go back and avenge and actually just take rifles out and go farther back. And it's way easier because it's the 5 mile, the corridor.
Right.
So if we get far enough back there, we just do that. We tag out real fast. And we fish some graylings.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, nothing worse than having some equipment malfunctions when you're out there on a hunt like that.
It was my first time ever having that. I've heard about it, read about it, guys telling stories about it. And I always assumed, yeah, maybe at some point I'd have it, but I never really thought it could happen to a guy like me.
Never,
not to a guy like me. That wouldn't be right.
What's up? We are going to thank a few of these sponsors that help make this beautiful show a reality for all of you. So here we go. So a big reason, I would say, to why we're so successful and we have so many bucks on the wall is because we use HuntWise. HuntWise is a GPS mapping app that you can download on any phone, any platform. You can look up public land huntings, ORV trails. You can get the weather. They actually have a HuntCast 2.0 that they teamed up with Jeff Sturgis to make. It's awesome. You need to check this thing out. Go to HuntWise, download the app.
I feel like if you go into the woods without optics, it's like going into the woods without pants on. Would you agree with that?
To a point.
To a point. We are huge fans of running binoculars, spotting scopes, and different things when we hunt, even whitetail. I bring binoculars out every time I go. We choose Vortex Optics because they make the best glass in the business. They have an amazing warranty, super clear glass, super helpful people that work there.
Also, if you want to rep some sweet Vortex swag like this warm shirt on a nice fall day, head over to Vortex Wear, thank you, and use the promo code TFC20 for 20% off your purchase. Saddle game, you need to be in it. If you haven't been in it yet, then you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
Trophy Line Tree Sales makes some of the best saddles in the industry. They have 3 different platforms that we use and that are awesome.
I want to make a quick plug for the Wingman with a couple steps. You can take one less stick, and it's like a combination of a stick and a platform. I've been exclusively hunting out of it this year, and my mobile setup is so sweet. I'm very proud of it.
Awesome.
I highly recommend the Wingman system.
If you're ready to pull the trigger on that and you want to get with James and do the Wingman, head over to the website and you can save yourself 10% on the purchase. TFC 10 will get you that. I like to think I single-handedly got James to switch to compound again, but I'd probably be a liar and everyone would call me out on that. We shoot prime bows. We think they're awesome. Great accuracy, super shootable.
Made here in Michigan.
Made in Michigan, so we love that. It's hard to complain.
That's where Jared was made. So
surprisingly,
we like that. Yeah.
You're welcome. So go check out these prime bows.
We are of a firm belief that the arrow is the lifeblood of the archery industry. We've said it 1,000 times. But in all seriousness, we are huge fans of arrows that are durable, that fly well, and that kind of make up for some of my inaccuracies in the way that I shoot. So we shoot Vector custom arrows.
The hammer.
The hammer.
That's Thor. Thorwoodson.
They are made in Wisconsin by our buddy Isaac. Great arrows. And if you want to go and get yourself some, have a little bit of a discount, use TFC10 for 10% off. Or call Isaac up and tell him we sent you.
Mm-hmm. You want his phone number? Comment below.
Yep, comment below.
And so, yeah, to have that happen.
It's probably because he's a Bears fan, right? Like,
yeah. Well, what I should do is I should have, and I have done this in the past, is put marks on my stuff. So I can turn it right back, because I think it was actually my rest, but all that to say, so we're going to do that next year, Jared. If not, then are you trying for elk too? When do you find out if you get drawn? In the spring?
I don't remember.
Okay. And are we doing our Alaska bear hunt? Are we doing that?
I think so. Spring.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
so is it,
Excellent.
is it his job to plan all the hunts and you play a different role? Is that why you keep asking him?
This is a conversation we haven't really had. It's kind of important.
I've got a fourth kid on the way.
That's why I never know.
2 months, so it's.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Boy or girl?
Take down this month.
So that's why I'm like, are you able? And sometimes I feel like if I do it like while we're recording,
you can't get an answer.
I get some pressure. I want a peer pressure.
Don't do that.
The millions of people that listen to this podcast every week, they're all gonna. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, before we keep, just jabbering on, Nate, you want to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, where you're from? I guess you said where you're from, but all that other stuff.
Yep. Yeah. Nathan Goodworth from Shelley, Idaho. Grew up in Southeast Idaho, so super fortunate to live really close to some beautiful mountain ranges. So spend a lot of time in the outdoors, hiking, whitewater rafting, hunting, obviously, and doing a bunch of things, and fell in love with the outdoors at a super young age. And very passionate about entrepreneurship and business. Always had some sort of side hustle going on, whether it was a full-time gig or part-time gig. Did a lot of, window cleaning, carpet cleaning, ran a TV and internet retail business, joined another tech startup 6 years ago, ran that for 5 years, transitioned out just over 6 weeks ago. Well, actually about 2 months ago now, and launched a new consumer good product in the outdoor space called Ollin. We do a magnetic digiscope. Yeah.
Ollin.
Yeah. Ollin. And yeah, so 8 weeks ago, I went all in on Ollin. And yeah, it's been going really good. Doing that full time now. I still do a little bit of consulting for that previous tech company that I was running, but yeah, been awesome to see this product that came about almost 2 years ago actually hit the market, and it's been awesome to see people's response. And yeah, appreciate you guys inviting me onto the podcast. Been cool to read a little bit about your story, and that's one of my favorite things about podcasts is to hear other people's stories. And I have zero experience hunting out your direction. And so hopefully one day that'll happen, and hopefully one day our paths will cross. So
yeah, come out, man. We'll put you on a ton of dose.
Hey, I love dose too. I don't judge, man. The meat's good either way. So
the meat's good either way. And actually I say that, but have you been seeing those bucks I've been getting on trail cameraman? I've been getting bucks. I usually will get some 110, 115 class bucks, and I'm always, that's pretty cool. It's oh cool, but this year there's one that's got to be in the 130s.
Oh, probably more than that. I mean, it always looks bigger when they're in velvet,
but still, man, there's a for our area, especially, and for just public land, a fairly heavily hunted piece of public land that we have found. I can't say too much, because I do know that there are people
we found a good pocket.
Yeah, we found a good pocket. It's interesting. So,
well, good luck. When does the hunt start for you guys there?
Well, it starts the 1st?
October 1st.
We won't be around for it though. Mm-hmm. So here's the question. So we're headed to Kentucky for the October 1, which is Michigan's opening day. But here's a question for you. So say we're going out and we're putting some more of we got these Tacticam reveal trail cameras we throw out. And say we've got a couple out, and we get that size buck that we've been seeing, and maybe we've got another one. It's they're showing up every day, and it's the 30th, and you see them during daylight out. Would you go to Kentucky, or would you go stay back to hunt that buck in your homeland where you haven't historically seen a lot of big deer? Or would you go?
I could go sit in the tree stand for you and watch that buck while you guys go hunt another state.
Yeah,
Like,
right. We'll call you in. Because I was thinking about that. I'm like,
just divide and conquer.
Yeah, right. Kentucky will be like private land. It's
Yeah.
Kentucky. It's absolutely gorgeous down there.
The Kentucky.
They grow bucks, but at the same time, it's that home factor where it's like you got to get the job done.
That'll be tough, man. There's pros and cons to each approach there.
I'm going. I'd stay going to Kentucky.
Yeah,
because I feel like
a fun trip.
Because I feel like you can always be like, well, I'll just keep my cameras out, and like next time they do that, if they start showing up again, watch that'll happen. That never comes back, or like beds down October 1, right there.
Yeah, my opinion is if you're hunting, you're either way, you're going to be in a good spot. So
that's right. So you are Ollin entrepreneur. Did you do this out of high school, out of college? When did you start like dabbling into just making your own way?
Like entrepreneurship or all in?
Yeah. Entrepreneurship in general.
Started doing some stuff in high school. I have some uncles that are teachers, and so they ran a window cleaning company for years on the side just to bring in extra cash. And that kind of exposed me to that. And, I've just kind of always wanted to do my own thing. So while I was going to school, I had started doing that, built a pretty good book of business, and then, started learning the carpet cleaning, got into that just to kind of upsell some of the customers that we had. And then while I was still going to school, one of the goals was to get wife and I through debt free, but I was the type of student that I had to spend some extra hours studying or I was not going to get good grades. So I needed some job that could bring in some income, but could be a little bit more flexible with the hours. And so that's what I was doing to get through school. As soon as I graduated, started to transition that into a TV and internet retail business as well. This was all Southeast Idaho. And one of the things that I felt like I kind of lacked while I was doing that is the ability to kind of expand my network outside of just Southeast Idaho. And so I just kind of made some personal goals to start networking with individuals and network with some entrepreneurs in Utah. And that's how I got connected to Sign Glasses is the other company. So we do remote sign language interpreting and captioning through smart glasses.
Oh, cool.
So someone that's deaf can put on a pair of glasses and actually see a live interpreter, live captioning in the glasses while they're looking at, presentation or having a conversation. And I got exposed to that, got brought on as kind of the first full-time guy, was earning equity in the company, so wasn't getting paid, hardly anything. My goal was to learn entrepreneurship at an accelerated rate, earn some equity in the company, hopefully grow it to the point where we could go through an acquisition. And like I said, I actually still consult for that company. There's like 20 employees now, going extremely well. We just closed a big contract with Xbox and provide interpreting for Twitch streamers. So that's pretty exciting.
That's really exciting.
And working with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We actually have our glasses are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So if you're deaf, you can come in there, put on these glasses and see what's going on. And
so
anyway,
it's got to be like a big potential market for you, right? Like all those different displays and things you could.
Yep, absolutely. No, big market. And anyways, was doing that, and I had transitioned into doing full-time sales there after we really got the thing running, and it just got to the point where I was kind of feeling like it wasn't stretching and growing me as much as I wanted to anymore. And I was a couple of years back, and that's when this new idea came about, Ollin, this new digiscoping adapter. And so it started out as a side hustle, completely unrelated to what I was doing over there. It's a consumer good product. So I had to figure out manufacturing, had to figure out, all those different processes that you go through for a consumer good product. And just kept working at it super hard, got really good market validation on it, and got to the point where I could finally make the jump and do that full time, and in an industry, in a space that I'm, obviously extremely passionate about growing up in Southeast Idaho. So yeah, I guess entrepreneurship's been, a big part of my life for the last 10 years and hopefully continues to be that way.
When you, kind of a side question, but there's a point to this question. You've grown up in Southeast Idaho. Is that where your parents are from?
Yep.
Grandparents?
Yes.
How many generations have lived in Idaho for you? How long have you guys been there?
Oh, probably 4 or 5 generations.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I ask because I feel like everybody that talks about being out, we from the East refer to it as like, oh, out West. And everybody at out West refers to it as back East. And usually they have a moment where they're like, when their family came West, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a move that they usually have. And so I always wondered about that, because it's like, I mean, you're talking about being an entrepreneur and thinking about families making this move across the country. And that was the long stretch that I was trying to make. But as you were saying this, I was like, I wonder how long he's actually lived there. So you've grown up Southeast, you grew up hunting.
Yeah.
As a kid, your parents hunt, your dad, I'm guessing, hunted. Is that how it went?
Yeah, so my dad comes from a family with 10 siblings, so 8 brothers, 2 sisters. They grew up in a town called Blackfoot, Idaho. Yep. And yeah, their dad, super hardworking, very frugal. He was an engineer, but the way they put food on the table was through hunting. And so he started at a very young age, getting after it. A lot of mule deer hunting is what he did. And yeah, they go out with literally 8 tags, and go hunt a weekend or a week, and then they'd spend the next week just cutting up deer, putting it in the freezer, and that's what fed the family. And I was fortunate enough that out of all those siblings, my dad was actually one of the only ones that really like fell in love and was passionate about it. Right. A lot of the other ones, like, they like being outdoors, but it was kind of just a chore for them to go and do that. My dad and then his dad, like, not the case. It was like what they really loved to do. And so obviously exposed to that at a very young age. I remember hunting with my dad and my grandpa when I was like 8, and watched my grandpa shoot an awesome 3x4 buck out in Malad. And just obviously I just fell in love with it. And then on my mom's side of the family, not many hunters, but love the outdoors. They have 8 siblings, so also a big family. And my grandma, very passionate about the outdoors. Every single year from when I was 8 years old and older, we would do what's called a grandma hike. And it was grandma taking all the grandkids, 8 and older, on a backpacking trip for 3 or 4 nights. And so Palisades, all sorts of stuff like that. We'd be out at a super young age, just again being in the outdoors. And so whether I was hunting or hiking, I just fell in love with it. And so yeah, was definitely exposed by family. That's kind of what got me into it. And haven't looked back since. So
and you found now an excuse to work in the hunting industry.
Yeah, finally, right?
Yeah, I know. No, that's awesome. Well, why don't you take a minute to describe like what Ollin is, because for it's interesting, especially for guys like us and Jared, given the alternative that's been on the market for a while. So you want to explain what you make? Yeah,
absolutely. So first of all, a lot of people pronounce it. That's why you guys were probably wondering how you pronounce it. So it's spelled Ollin, like almost sounds like Ollin, but it's actually pronounced Ollin, like Allin. Mm-hmm. And I'll share just a little backstory on how that name came about and why our business is named Ollin. When we were going through this process of getting the business started, we wanted to come up with a company name that was more broad and universal, so we could expand our product offerings down the road and not just be tied to like one particular product. And I happened to be reading this book called Aspire. It's by a guy named Kevin Hall. The book's all about the power of words and how they influence our lives. So each chapter he talks about a specific words and its origins and what it means. And as I was trying to come up with this company name, I wrote down, a mission statement, a vision that we wanted to try to accomplish. I was reading this book, and this word Ollin was in the book. And it's an ancient Aztec word. When a big storm or earthquake would shake the earth, these ancient Aztecs would scream and yell in urgency this word Ollin. And it literally translates into moving and acting with all your heart. And the more I started reading that word, the more I felt like it just aligned with what we were trying to accomplish. And it's the reason this company came about. I was moving and acting on top of another full-time job, trying to position myself in a way where I could pursue something that I was really passionate about. It's also a word on the Mexica sunstone, and it signifies like the moment that somebody actually becomes aware of what they can become. Yeah. And just thought, what cooler company vision than trying to help people realize their potential and help them become aware of what they can become. And so Ollin is the company name, spelled Ollin. So Ollin.co is our website. We innovated a new magnetic digiscoping adapter. So just a quicker and more efficient way to connect your smartphone to an optic. We launched with just a select few spotting scopes, and we're expanding over the next year into many more spotting scopes, binoculars, hopefully get into rifle scopes and things like that. But yeah, that's kind of what we sell. That's kind of how the name Ollin came about. So
that's awesome. I feel like what's sweet about Ollin, first of all, we've used alternative type products for connecting your phone to your spotting scope or whatever. It's first of all, when you first get started doing it, you're trying to angle and hold it, so like it looks like you're having an earthquake because it's shaking around. And the second way is like through a device that you attach to your phone that makes it like huge,
Right.
that doesn't really ever stick quite right to your eye cup, and takes a while to do. And so usually it's like, oh, there's something that's like trying to get it all stuck on, have it all set back up onto your tripod. And so what's been cool to see is the guys using Ollin is they just like will snap their phone right on, and it's like instantly you see this picture, and it's like, man, that would have saved us so much time in the past, which is initially how I found you. I saw the video. I'm like, oh, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that pain and frustration that you just described. Like, I think anybody that's done any sort of digiscoping or recording, with their smartphone through their optics, they ran into that type of challenge where they're trying to find the sweet spot. They're fidgeting quite a bit. And for me, it was a once in a lifetime bighorn sheep hunt that I drew out on in Idaho a couple of years back, where it was the first time I actually took digiscoping like very serious as a tool that I could use to help, hopefully harvest a mature bighorn sheep. And there was one particular trip that I was in there, 10,000 feet in elevation, several miles in, glassed up with my binoculars, a massive ram, pulled my spotting scope out, the other digiscoping adapter that I had at the time. By the time I was fidgeting, trying to finally get that thing placed on there, it had fallen off. And anyways, I missed like the opportunity to capture that awesome content. And that's when that pain point became super real to me. And that's kind of how this magnetic concept was born. And so, yeah, you described how it works. Whether you're recording a video straight up and down on your phone and, portrait mode, or you're shooting in landscape, the system that we built allows it to connect and give you that center fit just within an instant. And so you can start recording and keep that thing on the spotter and just keep moving while you're out. Because the style of hunting that I do, it's a lot of run and gun. There's a lot of moving. And so I wanted to build something that could help solve those issues, but you could still be on the move and keep going. So, yeah.
There's nothing, I don't know why. There's nothing. There's probably things, but trying to get that right, and the frustration, how instantly frustrated I get when I'm trying to just freaking get that on there. And I just want it to work.
Adrenaline's going a little
I'm
bit.
a little excited. Yeah. I'm just, I had a moment I have a different kind, not an Ollin, on my trip to Alaska. And I was at one point, I'm like, I want to smash it. Like I'm angry about this thing. I just want to throw it out the window. But it's cool because like phones now, like I have the iPhone 13. It does ProRes and it does RAW. It shoots in RAW. So like this is a legit camera that you can edit it up and it's a sweet picture. So it's like you have like a very powerful camera, and to be able to connect it quickly to long range like that, that's freaking awesome.
That's sweet, yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome tool. And it's just a fun way to go, share the story with your friends, your family. Just when you have that content, being able to show it, like it's one thing to say what happened, but when you actually have video or cool pictures of it, it just, I don't know, it has a lot of meaning, right? And so, yeah, I love it. So what you guys got
for social media too, it's like, so there are a lot of bad things about social media, but one of the things I like is like watching these moments, or like someone's out, scouting and they get a field full of huge bucks, or, you see a guy through binoculars stalking up and taking a shot. Like, I love to see that. It tells the story of a hunt. Like to be able to be part of that and make that easier for people. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. You guys got to tell me a little bit about like, how heavily is that tool utilized, like where you guys hunt, like Michigan, East Coast stuff? Like, that's one thing I'm not as educated on. I imagine not utilized quite as much as out west, because you're doing, tree stands, sitting blinds and different things like that. But how often do you guys out that direction use digiscoping adapters in the style hunting that you guys do?
I use it a lot. What about, I feel like scouting.
Yes, in the scouting aspect, I mean, you're sitting in a truck glass in a field, if you're having that spotting scope, there's attachments you can put on the side of your
Put it
truck
to your
or
window.
yeah, you can put it right in the window. I'd see
Yeah.
that very, very beneficial.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to capture that, that buck that you can see way out in the field.
Mhm.
I've never been a big proponent of glassing. I mean,
Holy cow.
I don't know, I've just never used like binos or anything like that while I've been hunting, and starting to get into it just a little bit more, just because I've never had a good pair of glass to
Yeah.
use.
Right.
And,
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
and now that I can, shoot out, I can see, 500 yards out closer. I've been starting to use it just a little bit more, but man, it's been a struggle just because I haven't been used to it.
Yeah, we'll do it, and it's like, it's helpful. It's like,
Yeah.
I use my glass all the time, all the time when I hunt. Now that I have it, but like you said, growing up, not until I was an adult did I have glass. I would bring nothing out, 'cause it's like the alternative are like, they're so bad that they're not even worth the weight. So now that we're older, we got adult size binoculars. I feel like we use them a lot. You said you have to get into the habit of bringing them out.
Mhm. But yeah, I would say for scouting, I would say it'd probably be the biggest
Utilize
advantage.
quite a bit.
Yeah, because I mean the woods here, it's dense. I mean, it's where Michigan is kind of a swampy state. There's a lot of swamps. It's real thick.
Like a jungle in the summer.
Yeah, so you're really targeting more towards the hunters who are using it for glassing fields or open terrain.
Swamp.
Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine popping that up over that swamp, or
That'd
like
be
gun
sweet,
season?
man.
That would be
that'd
pretty
be
sweet.
really cool. You bringing it up there and just being able to just glass that buck who's 200 yards away.
Yeah.
If you have that distance and that terrain where you can actually use it, yeah, that'd be really sweet.
Yeah, Jared, if you're going to get me on that massive doe, I need you to start recording. I need to know which one's ears are the biggest, which one has the healthiest body. Like, you better start using it more. So I know which
I'll
does
get
to
you
go.
on a dominant
That
doe.
dominant
That
doe.
dominant doe, that long nose.
Yeah, the smartest deer in the woods.
Smartest deer in the woods. Thanks, Dan.
You know what? They usually are pretty smart. They usually are pretty hard to hunt. That like old doe.
Well, it's
But-
just like a lead cow.
Yeah, it's exactly. Like they've seen everything. They've seen all the things get shot at.
Yeah, they usually bust you a lot faster than the bulls will that lead cow.
Right.
They're the reason we can't get to the bull.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they kind of ruin everything. That old doe is always the one that will blow at you. Like blow up your spot and
Hey,
ruin everything. Hey, hey,
Yeah,
man, holy cow! I hate that noise. That blow. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. You guys get that?
Oh yeah.
Like,
My wife does it to me too when she's mad. So yeah, I get it from both sides, in the woods and at home. My wife will do the same thing when I'm.
Yeah, you hate that. You hate to hear that.
hey.
So you guys recently came out. I mean, you kind of came out at a weird time. And when I say come out, Jared, I mean as a product.
Thank you.
Thanks
They released-
for clarifying that.
You're welcome. All in
Some
different
people-
contexts is totally different, But all in, you decided to launch. I mean, right after COVID hit, like there's been some issues with getting parts and supplies. Like, has that delayed things for you, or has that not affected you too bad?
I think it's impacted everybody. The biggest thing for us is just the question mark. So we do all of our designing and prototyping. That all takes place here stateside. We do that all ourselves, and then we have our fulfillment center that's out of Salt Lake. So we do all of our shipping, and
Yep.
Right now, obviously, I'm running a ton of the customer service just because I'm the only full-time guy running this. Got a lot of great partners, but full-time it's just me. But we do like our manufacturing out of China. And so when I was going through a bunch of due diligence, and we're still vetting out some US based companies, because we love to shift it that way. But for me, I was bootstrapping a lot of this business. I took a very small round of funding just for family and friends. But most of it was bootstrapped. And as I was doing some due diligence, trying to find some good solutions stateside for manufacturing, it was just really hard to find a place I could go that could do all aspects of our product, which is injection molding, die cut plastic pieces, assembly, packaging, and getting that towards us. And so I got connected with a company that's actually based out of Utah. And they have a partner that lives in Utah, and then they have a partner that lives in, China, near all the factories over there overseas. And it was just really nice for me to be able to work through one contact to figure out all aspects of the manufacturing process. And so for me, it wasn't even like a price thing. It was more quality and efficiency of being able to get this thing ready and get it to the point where I could go hit the market. And so that's kind of why I went there. And the biggest issues that I've had is just everything's actually gone pretty smooth as far as getting into us, but it is that question mark on what's happening with tariffs. What's happening with, when is somebody gonna, make somebody mad enough that they're just gonna shut down the ports, and it's gonna delay getting things here. And so far it's gone pretty smooth as far as timeline goes, but that's always my biggest concern is, what is going to happen in the future. And that's why, as we're going through and doing this, we've got to do our due diligence and figure out solutions here stateside, right? But so far, it's been a pretty good experience. You get hit with some additional fees when you're doing it overseas. But for the most part, it's been a good experience, and we haven't had too many crazy bottlenecks yet. Knock on wood.
Yeah, that's a lot of moving pieces, and like to start working it out at the beginning, I've heard is tough. We're working with a company right now who's, I think they're probably 2 years at least behind on the release of like a new product because of COVID and like how restricted they are in getting certain materials. And like you said, you haven't seen that bottleneck, but for them, there's a few parts of what they want to do is like just non-existent right now. It's just wild to me.
Yeah, I've got some friends that run another business, and they were able to get their product to the States, to California, to the ports quickly. But one of the things they ran into is it's literally just been stuck in a storage bin for months because of, COVID issues, and also just they don't have enough workers. There's a lot of money that's just being sent out, and people don't feel the need to work as much, I guess. And so they have a problem finding workers that can get some of that inventory checked and through faster. And so I know that's been a challenge too, but I'm hoping that we're on the upside of it and not the downside of it. There's been some rumors that there's some tariffs that might be lifted, which would be awesome for companies over here. We have fairly decent margins on what we do, but those companies that don't have good margins, like you feel terrible, because when these unexpected things happen and there's more fees, like it's hard for them to stick around even if they have an awesome, incredible product, because they're getting hit so hard with those types of fees. And so hopefully we're on the upside, but we'll see. I think it's just kind of a question mark, right?
Yeah. You said you guys have spotters right now, certain spotting scopes. What does Ollin work with right at the moment?
Yeah, so we launched with the Vortex Razor HD Gen 2 spotting scope. So that's the all green spotting scope. We've got the Swarovski ATX STX, which is like their newest spotting scope. And then also the Swarovski ATS STS. That's kind of their a little bit older model. And then we also launched with a Maven S1A. And then we don't advertise this yet on our website, but we actually have some of the Koas. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know if it's Koa or I don't know how to pronounce it, but we've had some of our adapters fit some of the Koas, like the TE11WZ eyepiece. And so that's what we launched with, was that batch of optics. Again, we wanted to get it into people's hands. We knew some of those were some of the more popular optics. We wanted to get good feedback. But right now we've got Leopolds in the work, the SX2, SX4, SX5. We've got the Swarovski BTX, which is their double eyepiece for their spotter.
Oh yeah.
We've got some older Vortex, not older, just some some other models, the Diamondback HDs, the Viper HDs, and then the Vortex Razor Gen 1. There's a lot of people that run that. That's the gray and green spotter that's got like the double knobs.
Yep. That one's
that one's in the pipe right now. And then a handful of more, and then we're working on binocular adapters right now. And I'm hoping that we can launch another batch of optics before the end of the year, so for the holidays. But that's kind of where we're at, and kind of the optics we launched with.
You've got the Razor. Do you have a Razor or a Diamondback spotter?
It is the Diamondback.
You have it. Next, can I put in a request for the UHD binoculars for Vortex? That would be
those are we actually I'm prototyping those out this weekend. We've got prototypes for those. Our manufacturers actually already have the designs on those. So the way the process works, I'm revealing all my secrets, but I think it's fun for people to hear that want to go start a business, right?
Yeah, I know. No one else do this, man. Be cool.
We do a lot of in-house design here and 3D print with 3D printers that we have, which they're good printers, but they're not like, those $200,000+ machines where you're pumping out something that almost looks like it was injection molded. And so when we dial in and get a prototype functioning the way we're confident with, we then send those files to our manufacturers, and they send us really high-end 3D prints that almost look like injection molds. And we test that and then make sure that's working well. And then that's what they base the injection mold designs off of.
Gotcha.
So then if we need or anything like that. And so right now, the one that you just mentioned, they're actually shipping it to us right now from China. Some of those Ultra HD. Some of our partners actually run those quite a bit, even more than spotters.
I swapped out I had a spotter. I swapped it out. I mean, just because your eye gets tired, it's kind of a pain to find it. And so I got just 18 by 56s that I'll just take them out when I'm glassing or whatever. And I just like that a lot more. I feel like it's easier to use, and it's way easier on your eyes.
Yeah, especially the hunting you guys do. Like, those binos are awesome.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, so you have some stuff coming out. You have sounds like you've got plans for a whole bunch of other stuff to come out. So you guys are doing pretty well. Things seem to be going well for Ollin.
Yeah, we've had a really good launch. I can't credit that just to myself. We've got some incredible partners that have helped push the product out there. But what's been really cool is it's been really cool to see word of mouth really get this thing moving. We haven't really paid a ton in ad spend, so nobody's really seeing us pop up through like paid ads like on Facebook or Instagram. A lot of it's through organic growth, and to me, that's just a reflection that the product's in a really good place that people are telling our friends. We've had tons of people come back and order more. We've had, it's gone about as good as I could have hoped, probably even better than I hoped. We set a very ambitious goal for our first month, and we crushed that goal. Maybe I wasn't ambitious enough when we launched, but it was a good thing to see. And with just 4 optics, that's what's been crazy. With just the 4 class that we're offering right now, it's been cool to see. And obviously, there's a lot of people that are anxious and biting at the bits to get it for other optics, so we're pushing as hard as we can to get there. But
we're some of those guys.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that's interesting is you spend almost all the things you mentioned are thousands of dollars worth of optics, right? To increase the usage of something that you've invested so much money in that you'll have for so long. Optics, I think, can be those things I would give to my kid. That's like that they last forever if you treat them.
The spotting scope I used was one I got from my dad. And it works great.
And like, spend a little extra money. That's a fraction of the cost of those to increase the ability to use them. Or like, for me, I love doing this kind of thing when I've got a 10-year-old and my wife. And so to like go glass, throw it up and have everybody be able to look at the screen is huge. And so now that's one of my tricks for getting. Somebody had just messaged us on Instagram the other day, how you get your kids into like hunting and out of the outdoors. One of the things has been just like, now my daughter has like such a good game eye. Like, she can spot stuff.
That's
like
awesome.
Because it turned into like this fun game that we did a lot. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that like, if I can throw my spotter out, pop a phone on, and all of a sudden everybody can see it, it's all exciting. Like, that's a cool product, and that has a lot of influence.
Oh, for sure. How old's the daughter?
She's 10. She just turned 10 while we were in
10
Alaska.
already?
While we were in Alaska. Yeah.
Cow.
Wow.
10 years. Yeah.
What kind of father leaves her daughter for her birthday? No, I'm just kidding.
No, she was with us.
Oh, she was with you. Oh, that's
I can't say, can't be on my high horse about bringing your kids outdoors and then leave her home when I go to Alaska. No,
and that's been one of my favorite things about this product that we launched with is it's so user friendly that it does help. It helps bring the kids in. So when I was doing like 2 years ago, when I was doing some early prototyping, I had a couple of hunting buddies come over and I had a couple of spotting scopes set up in our kitchen. And I had some of these other digiscoping adapters set up for them to, I said, hey, come in and put these on. Tell me what your experience is. And I wanted to see, let's see how long it takes you to do this. And then I had my 4-year-old daughter literally walk by with my adapter in the phone case. And she's 4 years old and she comes on and she connects it to the spotter faster than those guys could that have been using those other products, years. And it's really cool, when you're on, even if you're not hunting, you're just going out and you want to capture wildlife, like to take your kids and for them to be able to all stare at the phone, because we know all of our kids know technology. They're good at staring at phones and iPads, for them to be able to actually see the animals and see what's going on. Like you don't get that when you're trying to explain to them how to look through a spotting scope, especially at a young age, right? And so that's been an awesome part for me.
Yep. And then and like you said earlier, I mean, there's that, and there's the time that sometimes I'll go without my family and I want to like show them, hey, check out what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a video of it.
Right.
I love to tell. I love to come back. Like when I came back from Alaska, I'm like, check this out. Here's a video of me missing on a caribou. I posted that
my
today.
arrow going like this.
Yeah, I posted it today.
I know you did. I saw
and
that.
I posted the proof of how bad the tune was because I showed a picture of the paper that I had shot it through.
Oh geez.
So yeah. Anyways, so no, we're coming up on time here, but like I said, I wanted to have you on. I wanted to hear from you and just first of all say you guys have added value to people's optics. I think if that's fair to say. For people who want to follow along, who are maybe looking for this phone adapter for their optics or whatever else, how can they find you? Where do they look?
Yeah, so our website's ollin.co. And then we've got Instagram, social media. It's Ollin Company. Just look for the big red or white logo, like this one here in the background. And that's us. We haven't had too many people create the fake accounts with that logo yet. I know that's coming, but
that will do a giveaway.
Yeah,
that's pop out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody has questions, like if they want to call and chat, like email support@ollin.co. So support@ollin.co. Most likely I'll be the one responding, and I jump on call. Literally, like when I was waiting for this podcast to start, somebody messaged and asked a question about one of the COAs that our adapter fits on. I literally called him like right before this and just explained it. He just like couldn't believe that I was calling him. And I'm happy to chat with anybody that has any questions. And that's something that I hope we can continue to do as we grow, is just continue to provide that human to human interaction with our customer support, because it's so much easier to answer questions. And we also know, like, our website looks really good, but there's some flaws to it. We're a new company and sometimes people have questions, and we just want to make sure we're answering as easily as we can. So they can also email us at support@ollin.co.
Excellent. Awesome. Hey, Nate, thank you so much. It was really good to meet you. And
same.
Check them out, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Nate.
Yeah. Let me know when you guys are coming out west to chase elk.
Absolutely.